Welcome to the Everyday Awesome Project, where we bring you inspirational stories and game-changing strategies to live your most awesome life. Hey, superstars, welcome back. Polly here.
And Sam Pruitt, what's up, beautiful humans?
Hey, you guys, we're excited. We're coming to you with a getting pumped up. I know if you can see us on screen, but in our podcast, people can't see us, but now you can imagine us like flexing our muscles. Yes.
We're
Getting
getting pumped
pumped.
up.
Dude, it's
I
time.
love
It's
it.
time. And I think we're doing this, in the early phases of a new year. And you and I were
Mm.
talking how like January 17th is like people fall off their wagon of, whatever. And we're like, gotta get them pumped up. Like, and
Mhm.
we also said like this is an episode for us. Like we're both, or I'm feeling especially like pumping myself back up. So
Yeah,
here we
yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the things that we do and we teach pretty regularly, but I think just identifying it for our audience. What are we even
Mhm.
talking about? What is this thing? I mean, everyone knows what it's like to get, or they've heard of getting pumped up, or they've pumped themselves up. But we're
Mhm.
really talking about an actual technique, and we're going to give them the
Mhm.
tools
Mhm.
that changes the state of said human, the
Mhm.
self. So I would
Mhm.
love for you to explain that a little bit more in detail. When we talk about state or state change, what do we mean?
Yeah. So one of the things that I've learned over the years, and this comes largely from the work of Tony Robbins, is it's like a triangle or a triad. So if you're somewhere where you can write this down, this may help you. But picture a triangle, and on one angle or one point of that triangle, what creates your state in your body, right? So whether you're happy, you're sad, you're depressed, you're joyful, you're eager, whatever, is three things. First thing is, what are you focusing on? Where is your attention, right? So our attention, our focus, our consciousness is either in the present, past, future. It's inner or it's outer. You're focusing on, the beating up of yourself, the mental thoughts that you're chitter chattering, like, I shouldn't have done that, or why did that person do that to me? Or you're
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the person that just cut you off in traffic and whatever. So where's your focus?
Mm-hmm.
Second one is, what's the story you're telling yourself in that moment? What's the language that's going on about that thing, right?
The
Yourself.
chatter, the mental chatter.
Mhm,
Why? Because of the
mhm.
evil twin. What is she
Right.
saying now?
Yeah, because our thoughts influence how we feel in our body, right? And the
Mhm.
last one is your physiology. And this is the biggest component, I think, that we have. And what we're going to talk about mostly today is how to shift physiologically. And so physiology for you guys, it's your where your eyes are looking, how shallow you're breathing or how deep you're breathing, if you're moving, if you're standing up, your posture. It's everything having to do with your body, right? So do you feel energized? Do you feel lethargic, right? That's your physiological component to this, right?
Mhm.
So things I want to kind of intercede as we go down this, pumping yourself up is definitely intentional, but a lot of times I've taught this and we've worked with clients in coaching realms where it's more therapeutic, right? So
Yeah.
state mastery, becoming a master of your energetic physiology, mental focus, all of that
Well,
takes
that's the
practice.
goal.
Yeah. It's like a
Mhm.
practice, right? It's a
It's
practice towards
totally a
mastery.
practice.
But a lot
Hmm.
of people, and I didn't know this myself, so having learned this years ago, it's like you're just walk around bumbling around anything in life, just sort of rubs you wrong and like throws you off or triggers. People hear that a lot, right?
Yes, yes, when
So
we're influenced by our
environment.
external experience and all of the humans and craziness in the Wild West that we all live in, that influencing our state rather
Mhm.
than us being in charge and being the creator of our
Mhm.
state.
Yeah, and I think we've done episodes before where we've talked about energy state and how it's created or whatnot, mostly to help people understand, when you get those triggers, to get out of it, to get out of the funk of, something's not working in your life or whatever. But you can also use it with intention, right?
Hmm.
And that's where this
Hmm.
getting pumped is like, if you're in a place in your life, either you're just feeling low energy or just not having the momentum that you want to do the things, to get about things, to have the relationships that you want, to pursue the goals that you have, to just kind of conquer life or be thriving, it's maybe because your state management needs some pumping up, right?
Hmm.
And so we
Hmm.
want to
Or
teach
you
people
feel
how,
stuck.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, a lot of people get into a state and then they continue to perpetuate the
Mhm.
negative focus, negative story, negative physiological reaction, and they
Yeah,
get stuck in that
yes.
pattern. It's like a swirling vortex sucking them down, and they don't know how to break that.
Yeah, and if you just, go through life responding to what you have, the situations that you have in life, if you don't ever change your story, if you don't ever change your physiology, if you don't ever change your focus, you're going to keep getting the same experience. You're going to feel the same way day after day. It's just going to be Groundhog Day, where it's like same day, same story, same life, different day, right?
Well, you're living a reactionary life
Yeah,
instead of a proactive life.
right, right.
You're not even participating in your own life.
Mm-hmm,
You're a
mm-hmm.
bystander almost.
Yeah. And people
Whoa.
and it's not that people don't want something different. I think they just don't know how to do it. And I would say I fell into that for a long time myself. It's like I didn't know that I could shift all these things, or I could at least, I think you can't have heard this, what we just talked about. If you heard it, you understand now what state management is. You can't unhear it. It's like, oh, now you know. Oh my gosh, but tell me more, right? Like what can we do? We'll go into some tools, but once you know you can do it, it's like, oh, I have a tool in my toolbox I can start using in my life, and creating a better life for myself, becoming the master of my life instead of just being in response to what life brings to me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's
Ah,
share
let's
some,
dig
I think
in.
so in my study of this, the area of the triangle called physiology is the one that you can have the biggest impact on, right?
Okay.
It's something that will have the biggest. So I coached a lot of people through, dark days and addictions and states where things just weren't. They were it's almost like, straitjacket, by their state or by their addiction, if you will. And I found that, it's one thing to like think rainbow thoughts when you're not feeling good. It's like it's kind of hard, like it's not necessarily what's going to pull you out of that state, right?
Yeah.
Or you can shift your focus. I do like the phrase, if I'm focused or I notice a thought going through my mind and I don't want to think that, or I've got a problem or something and it's just I'm not feeling good about it, I'll say, well, I don't have to think about that right now, right? Like I can shift my focus and that can help. But the physiology, and you, my dear, are like the master of human physiology, right? Like movement, movement, movement. Like you and your pump up sessions. Talk about you're back in the gym and like feeling great about it, right? And how that energizes you.
Totally, totally. To me, the physical piece is one of the most empowering for me and for when I do work with people, not just because I believe in doing physical activity. I mean, lots of us do physical activity, but how that physical activity and movement really is a catalyst for just moving through crap and getting rid of it from my story, my
Mhm.
focus, but physiologically changing my body chemistry literally changes as you move your body, and how that changes your total experience,
Mhm.
definitely your state, right? Yeah, examples for me on the every day, every single day is the gym experience for sure, going in there and I basically light a fire in these spaces. That's what I want to experience. So I bring
Yeah.
that with me. I don't expect
Yeah.
others to give that to me, but it's
Mm.
fine.
Mm.
Sometimes they do give that to me, and I love that too. I want to receive and give, but
Yeah.
bringing that, lighting a fire within others. So during a workout, I was just giving an example. I made my way back to CrossFit finally after all the Iron Woman training and so back in the gym strength training, and I forgot how much those workouts are horrendous and they hurt like hell. So to enjoy them and continue to succeed in them, do the work, show up, give it my best, for that day, that moment,
Mhm.
I need to have some, expression of that. So during the workout, there's maybe 8 or 10 of us doing the same workout and we're all suffering together, quote unquote. But like there's no reason for us to go into the pain cave and just grind away and just survive the thing without any
Mhm.
joy or actual positive fire coming out of it. So I will scream
Mhm.
out, yeah, loud, and I will yell to my teammates, and if we're near each other, we might high five or fist bump each other, but we'll definitely have a verbal expression. I start this, and then other people start doing it or responding it to it. And I always get a lot of feedback from everybody that they love that because it really distracts them from the physical suffering that might be happening and allows
Mhm.
them to alter their state in their own experience during that workout.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
And I think that that's exactly what we're talking about. In that setting, you can really see how that would happen, and I think most listeners have experienced this.
Yeah, I think if you work, so some people have the ability to work one-on-one with a trainer or a coach, right? Or you think of pro athletes who have coaches and,
Yeah,
like people,
teammates.
yeah, people
Hmm.
surrounding them, like this is their job, if you will. And it's like pump them up, get them in a peak state, go through these workouts and stuff, or you're working one-on-one with a trainer, they're like, one more set, one more set. But when we're in an environment where it's like we're solo in a group, let's say, we can
Hmm.
still do it for ourselves. That's exactly what you're doing, right?
Well, share yours on your way to the gym, what you do. What's your ritual? You have
So
a gym pump up ritual.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. I can't control the music and whatnot or whatever at the gym, but I have about it's less than 10 minutes. So I listen to different things, So
Mhm.
in my days of Spartan training, there's this wonderful video on YouTube that I listened to. It's like the soul of a champion, right? And it was like, I was born to be a champion. I was made, all this stuff. And so that would just
Mhm.
like raise this guy's passion and energy for pushing love and energy into people was just so palpable. And then these days, I also Tony Robbins has an affirmation, so something that you learn. And some people talk about affirmations like I'm this, whatever. But like when you get it energetically in your body, so I'm like in my car driving to the gym, like yelling. I'm like it goes, I am the voice. I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not and on and on and on. And and you say it over and over again. I get out of that gym or I get out of that car and I'm just like, let's do this workout. I don't quite, do the high-fiving around, whatever, but I put myself in a state. And yeah, there might be some camaraderie, smiles, energy, fist bumps along the way.
Mhm.
That's how I bring the best of myself to my workout. Well,
I actually, for a period of time, when you were sharing some of these with me, I downloaded the app. I don't use it now, but it's called Pep Talk. So there's actually
mm,
an app called Pep Talk, and there's a free version, and then there's a fee-based version. But it is these little blurbs of people from all different walks of life and
mhm,
expressions or whatever that basically give you a pep talk that day.
mhm, mhm.
How brilliant is this?
That's
So
amazing.
people are using this in those kind of formats. You and I have used these walking into important meetings or boardrooms or we have to give a presentation or we give speeches, we get on stage, we talk to people, we get in front of groups of people. Like we've done these things in those work or professional settings as well.
Mhm,
It's the same concept. It can be moved around into whatever the thing is you're trying to do,
mhm.
pumping yourself up so you can be a full expression of
Yeah,
yourself in
yeah,
that moment,
yeah.
fully present, fully dialed, with all of your gifts available to be
Mhm.
utilized,
Yeah. And
right?
and it's a tool, let's say, that you use, you bring out when you need it in select times, like I don't pump myself up to go to bed, it's like I'm not using this on the hourly, right? It's like
Yeah.
in situations
Mhm.
but I would say, definitely if you find yourself in a lower state, you're just kind of like, I was just sharing with you how the past, quarter of last year was feeling, and I'm moving out of, I would say, just overload and overwhelm
Mm.
and just tremendous, like too much going on, and my nervous system was just on overload, starting to get little eye twitch. I'm like, whoo. So for me, it's just been about getting back down to peaceful state, right?
Mm.
So I wasn't in those moments trying to pump myself up. I was
Good
already
point.
pretty wired, right? Not wired in a positive way. I would say wired more in an anxious, just overwhelmed, right? Just feeling like I couldn't get everything done and the burden that was, and feeling, and I like to keep my word and things like that. So it was just getting to peace. And I feel like the pendulum is swinging. And just in the last couple of weeks, as I said, I'm going to the gym and I'm like getting back into pumping myself back up, right? Like I'm turning that pendulum from a peaceful state. My body feels like it's energetically in balance. One of the things I want to talk about as we get into the tools is like, you are an energy system. You are, pluses and minuses of neutrons and protons and energy, right? And so
Mhm,
it's the
mhm.
balancing. And so if things are, friction, you look at an EKG, right? Like up and down and up and down. If that heartbeat of your energy system isn't fluctuating in a, say, harmonious way, like my word for this
Rhythmic.
year is, yeah, rhythmic harmony. It feels jagged in the body, like it. You just feel that tension. You just want to get out of your skin because your nervous system is out of whack. And so I've gotten to myself down to a state of peace, more harmonious. And now it's like, all right. And I love to be at a high vibration, not in an energetic frenzied vibration, but in a high peak, thriving lookout world. freaking stoppable kind of
Yeah,
vibration.
yeah. You
Yeah.
can't live there all day long, 24 hours a day.
Totally.
And I don't.
Yeah.
I don't wanna give people the idea that I do either, but, like, that is just these are examples we're sharing of things that we do
Yeah.
that are just kind of a normal part of our life,
Hmm.
or my visit to the coffee shop is a very high vibration experience for me, but it's also beautifully grounding.
Mm,
So
yeah.
it's like high vibe in a very like calming, grounding way because it's a
Hmm.
community of beautiful, like-minded people, and there's connection, and there's a hug, and there's like moments that
Hmm.
are just really tender and beautiful, but it's also like a really high vibration. So it's less of that fire up, pump up, and more like good vibes,
Hmm.
right?
And really, so it's noticing when when you're off, right? So not
Hmm.
off, we talked about the therapeutic uses of state management and mastery is, you're really off. You're having bouts of depression, or you're feeling, lack of self-worth, or you're just, in all these
Yeah.
darker phases of energetic states. So that's like helping you rebound from that, or, regain your energy from that. But there's also times when you do want, so like you were talking about, so a couple times where I've used this over my lifetime, with huge, I would say great results, is when I was teaching, so I would teach
Mm.
business classes every week. And before I would go into my class, I would literally go into the bathroom, do some grounding, some centering, calling in, all these teachers, flow through me, bring your wisdom through to me, that my words may be exactly what these students need to hear, all this stuff. And I would just like grow the energy inside of me. And it wasn't like I
Mm.
wanted to run out there and like, rah, 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 but like I brought the best of me to that class, because these are night classes, and
Yeah, the
people are
best of
coming at
you.
people are coming at the end of the day, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I want them to feel my energy and excitement for their business and their future and their potential, because I believe in them, and like have them receive this material in the positive way, right? Like this can help your life, your future, your business, right? And the other one is
Totally.
definitely in those like hard phone calls you have to make, it's like, so
Mm.
one thing you can read on the internet, there's like Superman postures and stuff. There was research at Harvard about, how you hold yourself, right? So they talk about the Wonder Woman posture, you put your hands on your hips and you hold, it's about putting your chest proud and your head up high. And we talked, before we went on air, about how they did studies on people who were depressed. If they put them in front of a mirror for 2 minutes and had them just smile, nothing else, don't do any homework, whatever, just smiling, depression went away, because your body is like, I'm smiling. I'm clearly not depressed, right? I'm
Mhm.
smiling, right? And sometimes people just need that physiological shift on the outside to help them like start to do the work on the inside. And so this Wonder Woman posture is great for like that. You can't stand, I'm sorry, like fucking Wonder Woman with like gonna crush the universe, and just be
Mhm.
like, oh, maybe this will work out, or I hope I'm good enough at this, or I hope this person, you're like, game on, dude, let's go.
Totally. I was giving you that example of this new work environment. I'm doing some work with REI and the team there. And so I've developed like some different habits with this team to get them fired up. They are the face of the brand, and we have very specific like a value system and culture in within REI that is so freaking amazing and beautiful. But the guest member experience that they're trying to create is very unique and special, I think, based on a
Mhm.
lot of companies I've been in. So here's all these team members, coming to work, and they're bringing with them whatever their stuff is, because we're all humans and we carry that backpack around, right? And then they go out on the floor and they're engaging with members and doing whatever their roles are. So I've developed these little habits of going around and like high-fiving them and walking around and making eye contact and stuff. So this is me and them,
Yeah.
co-workers,
Yeah.
teammates, and then you see them doing it with others. I do that with customers too, by the way,
Mm.
members. Like if they're sharing their story and they're going all of a sudden to Antarctica to do whatever the hell, like I'm interested in these things. So I'm like fired up for them. But you see, it's like a little spark that is started.
Yeah.
You can't be in a bad mood and high five somebody. It's
Totally.
impossible. I am breaking their state mentally and physically just by this eye contact and high five. Maybe if I say even nothing at all, just that little bit
Mhm.
of like, hey, I see you as I'm walking by, and give you a
Mhm.
quick high
Mm.
five. And
Mhm.
there's just a massive shift instantly in their physical present state, alertness, And then
Mhm.
their energy starts to rise up to meet that high five moment.
Mhm. Mhm.
And like you doing it with students in class, I can totally see how that would be the same thing. Now that
Mhm.
they're looking at you, they're attentive because there's an energy up there, a vibration in front of the room, and they're
Mhm.
attracted to that.
Mhm. Yeah,
We're
and I
attracted
think,
to high vibe.
we can, and no bad words here, bad juju when the story I'm about to tell, but like when you go into like for me anyway, I'll make it personal. So when I go into a store like a Walmart, right, and I can just feel it just feels low vibration to me. The lighting
Uh,
is low vibration, the quality of the materials are low vibration, everything is designed to be I don't want to say designed to be low quality, but it's designed to be
mhm.
low price.
Oh,
And
it is.
and so like the energy, the thoughts, it's like, oh, right. And then as you contrast that with walking into a store like a beautiful REI, and if you haven't been in, it's a beautiful store, number one, and the quality of the
Yeah.
clothes and the materials and the people and everything. It's just like, well, how long can I hang out here and do something? Let's get up to whatever you guys are getting up to, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's like and there's in the world of experiential marketing, there was this great book that I read a long, long time ago that's about people shop in the grocery store they stop at because they feel like the same energy with those people. And people
Yes.
will
And
go
coffee
miles.
shop.
They don't shop at the one that's closest to them always, maybe, but not always, right? It's often.
No, because I shop in a Sprouts, you shop in a Sprouts, and I drive to a different town to shop in a different Sprouts than the one that's closer to my home. That's why I laughed out loud because I do this currently.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Because
the same freaking brand store with
yeah.
similar products, and I drive
Mhm.
extra mileage to go to the other one.
Because it feels better. It feels different for you.
Feels better.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And we just want to give people permission to remember, like, it's okay to reach up for that higher vibration.
Yes.
It's okay to, and maybe in your store and in your life, you do a great job. Like, you don't care that people look at you funny the first time you high five them, because after like three, they're like, we should do this every day. Why haven't we always done this? Right? Because people don't,
Exactly.
they're not now
I'm
now
trying to currently incorporate the cowbell, which is
ah!
a thing. Okay, so I brought all these cowbells
Ah!
because we have team initiatives and we do these things and we celebrate our teammates and our members, right? So I'm like, well, what's a symbolic thing that we could hear through the store
Oh,
when it's happening in the bike shop, in the shoe zone, at the front counter, whatever, in camp? There's all these different departments.
mhm.
A freaking cowbell. Okay, they
Oh,
haven't fully embraced the cowbell yet, but I'm working on it because it's
okay.
so freaking fun.
Right, right.
It's like
Mm, it
these
is.
might seem ridiculous, and no one's ever going to want to work with me when they hear this. They'll be like, "She's a crazy person," but I don't walk around life like this. But I understand that there are certain environments I am co-creating and
Mm,
can help to curate. I can be
mhm,
one of the people that
mhm,
raises the vibration
mhm.
for myself and for whomever is in my space.
Yeah, if not for them, just for yourself, even, So,
Totally.
like I do it in the gym. I go to, I don't, when I would teach, I would do it for the whole class because, I was the leader of the class, if you will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in my gym situation, even though it's a group class, I'm not trying to lead it or whatnot. And you and I are just sort of a little different, but I do want to bring the best of me to my workout and feel as good as I can, So if that rubs off on other people, I love it. And everybody has a little different personality and style, but like,
Mhm.
don't let yourself fall into what's around you vibration. Be the vibration that you want to be.
Let's give them some actual tools because
Yeah.
I think we've sold them on why to do it.
And where we've done it.
Also,
Yeah.
it's better for your health in case we didn't drop that into the
Yeah.
bucket. Your physiological state, the biochemistry happening in your body
Mhm.
and brain
Yeah.
24/7
Yeah.
is what dictates your state of health.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is really important just to be a healthier human
Hmm.
of the brain and of the body and of the
Hmm.
heart.
Because the body wants to be at a high vibe. The body, everything in you wants to seek, that's why it feels so good to be up there. Like that's its quote natural state. Like babies, it's only when we condition them and program them with all these responsibilities and rules and don't do this and whatnot that we turn them into these little walking robots if we're not careful, right? It's like our
Mhm.
natural state is childlike curiosity and playfulness and exuberance and that's where we thrive and we grow and our bodies flourish, right? So 100% I agree with
This
you.
is one of the reasons I think that the breathing has taken off in the last whatever 5 years. All these different breathing techniques. There's so many. Just Google it, whatever you're into. But like people have really taken on these practices of breathing, a variety of breathing techniques to alter their state
Mm-hmm.
or the physiological and psychological emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one tool. I guess we'll just throw that into the toolbox that you can do breathing. But let's talk about some tools that you believe
Mm-hmm.
in and you've seen really be helpful.
Yeah. So physiology, if you look at it on the macro scale, like the biggest thing is like move the body,
Mhm.
like do something with it, stand up, so one of the things I'll give this example now that we're on air, we talked about a little bit off air is when I would teach my therapy clients, my coaching clients about state management, I would have given them an example, like you got door number one and door number two, right? And behind door number one, you've got a person who is not having a good life, right? They're depressed, things aren't going well, maybe there's grief, whatever. Like, how is that person's body? Like, if you could imagine, if you open the door, what would you expect to see? If I told you that before we open the door, we'd all say, oh, they're what? Slouched over,
Mhm.
they're kind of they're not making eye contact, maybe breathing shallow or deep, full breaths or shallow breaths, probably shallow breaths. They're not being expansive. They're kind of like wanting to get smaller and smaller in the world. They tend to kind of
Mhm.
cave in, if you will, not moving a lot, right? Their heartbeat,
Mhm.
if you checked it, would be very low, right? And they're just sort of like caving in on themselves, right? If I said, okay, well, let's contrast that behind door number two, somebody just won the freaking lottery, right?
Oh, I hope that's me.
Yeah, Samantha's behind door number two. Let's take a look, right? What would you expect to see?
Mhm.
How would that person be moving, right? What would you say? Would they be shallow?
Fired up, screaming, yelling, jumping up and down. Crazy.
Yeah, they'd be
Yeah.
taking up space. They'd be as
Taking up a lot of
big.
space.
They'd be as
Mhm.
big. Their movements would be big. They couldn't hold in the energy, right? Like they would
Yes.
have to move
Exuberant.
exuberant, right? They'd be making eye contact with you, probably with some bright, big eyes, like, holy smoke, check this out, right? And
Yeah.
you don't have to win the lottery. That's not the story that you have to have, but like you can still raise your vibration. Just knowing if you could put yourself into a depressive state if you sit long enough on a couch, slumped over, eyes down, shallow breathing, don't move. Guess what? You're gonna
1000%. And turn on the TV and game over.
check out.
Game over.
Check out. Just be, entranced with whatever's there. Or you
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
choose, and again, you don't have to go off the rails into, energetic, winning the lottery energy. Maybe you just want to feel like badass, right? Maybe you want to feel like energized. Maybe you want to feel enthusiastic. Maybe you want to feel just happy, right?
Mhm.
Like you
Exactly.
can create that. And so that just gives you a picture in your mind. So however you get there, there's a lot of ways to get there, right? Like you said, there's a lot of tools. So if we
But
go in the macro
movement,
movement, yeah. And I love what you said about
movement.
your stories of like running and movement and the gym and stuff. Absolutely. The chemicals, the hormones, the
Mhm.
the the flushing of the lymphatic system, all of that during running, yoga, exercise, movement, dance, anything that and you can dance in your house. This isn't like, oh, I got to go raise my
Totally.
state somewhere.
Dance in your car when no one's looking. You do it all the
Mhm.
time. I've done it all the time. Sing. Oh, that's the next one. Music,
Singing,
sound.
sound, 100%, right? So people aren't aware that the sounds that are going on around them, if they're not intentional with what's on the dial or the Spotify or the channel that they're tuned into, it could be having a big impact, right? Tune in or have the music lift you up if you want, so before this episode, I was like, we're doing the pumped up episode, so I was listening to like 90s rock and dance and come on ride the train, I was like getting all jiggy with it in the bathroom before I was getting ready. And it's like, yeah, because I want to bring that to this. I want to demonstrate like this is possible. Right?
Totally, totally. I just the other day was at a light and the guy next to me had his music so loud and it was hilarious. I looked over and it was actually an older gentleman and it was like total funky 80s, whatever. I don't even remember the exact song, but he was literally doing this. I mean, he
Getting,
was probably like in his 70s or 80s. He was like, "Dun."
getting jiggy with himself,
And
right?
I was like, how cute are you? I
Yeah.
love this. He was
Feeling
pumping himself up
themselves.
just driving down the road.
Exactly, exactly. So I think sound we take for granted the impact. We're water, we're 80% water, so we're vibrating, right? Like so like the
Mhm.
water, if you read studies of how they've taken, crystals, water crystals, and they put, words with it, like love or peace or joy, the crystal will look different. It will look more beautiful and radiant than if they put it with the word hate or anger or whatever. Like the crystal looks dysfunctional, like it forms differently, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
It's good. Yeah, there's a whole Japanese study of that that was done many, many years ago. But we're water. Like we can have like the high vibe, the energy like flowing through our body. You can just feel energy as you get good music around you, something that feels good to you, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be,
Exactly.
extreme pump up, but it can just lift you, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I put music on a lot when I come home after a really like hectic or big day.
Mhm.
And I want to quickly shift down my state into my home space, my safe, secure, nurturing food, rest,
Mhm.
etc. And we'll put music on pretty quickly to bring myself, okay, I'm in a different space now. It's time for me to shift gears and dial back all of those, high intensity moments
Mhm.
that I've experienced today or whatever, the
Mhm.
mental chatter, all the things. Love that.
Mhm. Yeah, your nervous
Love that.
system, your energetic vibration, your center point will be raised or lowered. Do you want to be in a state
Yeah.
of peace?
Yeah.
I listen to great peaceful music in the morning as just kind of like a
Mm.
sound bath I put myself in, right? Like, oh, I just want to feel nice joy or peace. And you can create that, right? Like I used to have an intention and a practice before I'd get out of bed every morning. I would put in some music and I would just listen to things and my practice and purpose was I want to get out of bed and feel love and happy and I don't get out of bed until I feel love and happy because that's what I want to bring to the world. And I would
Wow.
just bring to myself thoughts of love and happy, like feel it in my body. And then when I took the sheets off, I was like, love and happy coming out. Look out, here she comes. Right? Because it felt so
Oh,
good for
that's so
me.
good.
And I'm bringing that,
Let's talk
right?
about the
So
environment, signals, cues, etc.
okay, well, if you could see Samantha on screen, and many of you who are listening, you can, but like she is the master of like having and in her environment cues, reminders, right? Like you've got like little quotes that you love, you've got your medals in your office, I know in your refrigerator, you've got beautiful magnets of all these little funny things and inspiring things. You tell us, how do you utilize those? Right?
Those kind of cues just peppered throughout my space, even in my car or wherever my spaces are that I go out and about into
Your
the world.
keychain, yeah, your keychain.
Exactly. Are reminders to me, cues to me of not only who I am in the world and who I aspire to be. It could be as simple as what's on your screensaver. Oh, I should
Mhm.
just,
What did it say? My
my
crazy.
crazy runs
That's
wide and it runs deep. But like a screensaver, I have a quote on it right now that I'm working on. I gathered my habits and started releasing the ones that never lead me to lasting freedom and joy. And that's
Wow.
because I'm in the middle of some habit change for the new
Hmm.
year, right?
I dig
So
it.
putting these little cues,
Yeah.
visual things, reminders of moments, people, places, and things that bring me joy, that bring me peace, that pump me up and make me feel fired up about the work I'm doing in the world with humans. Like
Hmm.
all of those things, I need that in my space. And I believe they're incredibly powerful for all of us to really be thinking more intentionally
Hmm.
about that and what our
Hmm.
space does look like. We are the co creator or the creator or the curator of this experience.
Hmm.
So, what's going to be in my vision and focus? What are
Hmm.
going to be these little moments for me throughout the day that are gentle reminders to stay on the path that is true to me?
Mm.
I mean, you've
Yeah.
got to have all this stuff. I don't know how people are in spaces where it doesn't feel good and they're
Yeah.
living in that room, that
Yeah.
house, that
Yeah.
apartment. They're driving in that car that is full of crap and trash. And like these are your spaces, they're your sacred spaces to be your best self. And
Mm-hmm.
if they don't feel good and the energy and the vibration in there is very low, you're facilitating that cycle.
Yeah. It's having an impact on you,
Absolutely.
whether you and some people it's like, oh, well, and we've talked in the past about capacity. There's times where my capacity is, in our, you're in an event, whatever. It's like you have very little capacity to do extra, or
Hmm.
whatnot.
Hmm.
But when you have capacity, it's like, how can I reduce the resistance? How can I take away the things that are creating friction or stress in my life or bringing me down, or, just the mental space of like a trashy car or a
Mm,
cluttered drawer or old food in the fridge or whatever. It's
yeah.
like take the time, have the capacity to remove those things because you will feel lighter. We've done episodes on this, on like the feng
Mhm,
shui of things, right? And the
mhm,
only one thing I want to say is like have these pump up things in the places where you want to be pumped up, not in your bedroom where you want to go to rest, unless maybe a corner of your office is in your bedroom, maybe. But like that energy will, it will call out to you, it will speak to you, right? So have a calming environment in your bedroom, but have spaces, your workspace, your computer, your laptop, your car, whatever, that, yeah, pump you up. So,
Your style that I've witnessed for years now, and I just love because it's just different than mine and it's so like jovial, is you have party favors. Literally, like in certain places, or you bring them with you, or, we talked about the balloon unicorn, rainbow unicorn that was given to you, and that you held on to that, and it sort of hovered around in your space, in your home for months,
oh yeah.
kind of just keeping an eye on you.
I know where Tracy got it. I was like, oh my God, this is that same rainbow unicorn that she got me. I almost
Okay.
bought myself one. I was like, maybe I should buy another one. Because he reminded me for months of like every time I would look at it, right?
Exactly.
So good.
Party favors.
Yes,
Dude,
yes,
why can't we buy ourselves party favors?
totally,
When
totally.
we're talking about pumping ourselves up, whatever that means, like if it's some piece of your fitness routine.
Wacky
Yeah,
socks,
yes, exactly. Like, putting on the fun hat, or putting on the crazy socks, or, a water bottle or something that has a message that's significant to you,
Mhm.
whatever. If it's a work thing, have your day timer or your tools for work reflect the value system and the vibration, the energy you want to bring to that work,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
The front of your journal, like do you have just a,
Yes.
totally.
All of that kind of
So
stuff.
good. Yeah,
It's
or vision boards, that's the bigger one, like people are
Mhm.
used to hearing about vision boards, but it could be small things like you're talking about, like little stickers on your laptop or,
Yeah,
magnets on your fridge, right? Yeah.
visual cues to remind you
Yeah.
and give you that little bit of like, ba-bam.
And some of the best ones are like handwritten notes to yourself. So like when
Oh,
we did our kickoff last year, we did I am awesome challenge for 30 days. Like I wrote I am awesome and I put post-its all around my in the time in my RV. It was
yeah,
like little handwritten reminders for me to me, So yeah,
yeah,
all that,
yeah.
all
Three
that.
by five cards, kind of whatever makes sense. I do post-it notes in my car that I'll remind myself of
Mhm.
things that I'm working on, whatever personal stuff, to personal development stuff. And I'll write a little post-it note and I'll have it in my car, just stuck on my
Yep.
little dashboard there, same kind of concept what you're talking about. Um,
Mhm.
if you have a desk at work, if you have a locker at work, like all of these places that are going to be points of contact for you throughout the day,
Mhm.
these little
Mhm.
visual cues
Mhm.
to reignite your own internal fire are
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. And you know what? Go find an environment if you don't, or if you've created your max environment in your own home, like you,
Mhm.
we go out to environments like the gym that we go to, or the restaurant, or the hotel, the grocery store that
Coffee
we
shop.
shop at.
Mhm.
Like we feel good in those environments, right? Your
Yeah.
gym, my gym, like it's an opportunity to get up level, not only physically, but emotionally, right? So go put yourself in
Mhm.
spaces where people are, if you need to feel more peace, okay, go to a coffee shop where the chill vibe is going on or whatever, or go somewhere where, things are more lively. Maybe it's a concert, maybe it's a bar, I don't know, maybe it's a dance club, something, that you feel that enthusiasm, that pump up for you, or a gym.
I want to just mention one thing. You talked about capacity, which is one of our big teaching points. If people feel like, well, this is all nice and everything, but I don't have the capacity or the bandwidth right now to change my vibration or change my space or whatever, I would strongly encourage them to clear out. So even if they're not bringing in, just simply the clearing out of the
Mhm.
fridge, the bedroom, the closet, the car, the
Yeah.
desk, whatever, to make space for the vibration to shift, even if you don't have the energy to do the proactive shifting and pumping up like we're talking about. If
Mhm.
you just simply make room
Mhm.
for a different energy, it
Mhm.
will change. Open the windows, open the doors. Like
Yeah.
it will come in, right? It will
Yeah.
come in. Just be receptive to it.
You know, the other thing I was thinking of is we don't have kids at home, but you know, people with children, like teach your kids this, right? Because kids can
Um,
help you. They can help shift your energy, right? Like, hey
oh
kids,
yeah.
we're gonna play this game, you know, so maybe you have a ritual of kids doing a pump up every night or every morning before they go to school or whatever, you know, like play with it. See
Oh,
how you
that's
could
fun.
how could you you know, enliven and bring in more of the people in your house to like, you know, even moms, you know, get run down or a long day or whatever. But if the kids like have the habit of like it's a pump up hour or something like that, they'll help bring you up. Right?
That's so good. I got this visual when you were describing that of a parent driving their child to school
Mhm.
and or home from school. And many times, but going to school for the pump up vibe, you know, you're talking about, hey, what are you going to do at school today? And what's your day going to look like? And a lot of parents, I'm not judging, I was a parent of many children, and it is complex, we would be focused on maybe whatever we saw our child struggling with. So we'd be talking about, oh, here's maybe how to manage that not so pleasant classmate or the teacher that you don't really get along with or the schoolwork that you're burdened by. Setting the tone for the negative experience to literally expand in the child's brain and body before they've even walked in school.
Mhm.
I'm sure I'm guilty of this. Where it could be, let's focus on the positives. And this is also for an adult going into the workspace too. So, do we go to work and we're talking to our friends or our family members or whatever about, you're not going to believe so and so. She is such a, oh my God, and I got to put up with this boss today. And oh my God, right? Like, rather than, you know, who's my favorite person at work? Like, I have some favorite people in my spaces
Yeah.
and I want to shine light on them.
Celebrate,
Yeah,
celebrate.
because I want more of them.
Yeah, or
More
like
of them.
what was the best experience? What was the best thing? You know, like I remember asking this gal at our workout on Friday. I said, "What was your favorite workout today?" You know, because we do a lot of little mini things. I said,
Yeah.
"What was your favorite task or whatever workout?" Right? And she's like, "So she had to think about it." She's like, "Oh, that one." I said, "Yeah, that one was mine too." You know, and it's like we focus on
Yeah.
what made us feel good. Yes, yes,
What you focus on
yeah.
expands.
And I want to
Mhm.
share that from so when we're in different energetic states, so if you kind of think of it like a thermometer, right? Like higher vibration, the top of the thermometer, lower vibration, maybe at the lower of the thermometer, you're kind of
Heat
cold,
and cold.
molten. Yeah, you're cold, right? So like there's not a lot of possibility at cold. There's not a lot of excitement. There's not a lot of
It's retraction.
yeah, like the mind isn't like, what could I do? How could, you know, but if you warm it up, if you bring that energy up, you send kids off into a day, like
Mhm.
you don't have to focus on how they're not going to be bullied at school or going to get overcome that test. If they're in a high vibration, all of us, kids included, but if we raise our vibration, we have access to new levels of energy of thought and things can
Mhm.
happen and like, oh my God, I should totally do that. And then we get fired up to go do that, right?
Mhm. Mhm. You'll seek that matching vibration. You'll go to the school, the work, the home, whatever, and people trying to date in the world.
Hmm.
I mean, you're gonna match the vibration of the high vibe hottie across the room,
Yeah,
right? Or whatever. Not like, oh, that creeper over there. Ew, you know, like it's
totally.
fascinating how this works. This is good stuff, lady.
Dude, pump up. So
Oh,
let's,
wow.
anything else? Or are we going to share our like one thing? Like I'm
What's the
pumped
one
up just
thing?
talking about all this. So this is
I
so
know.
good. And I needed this today. So thank you. And thank you, listeners, for being on this journey with us. I hope you got something out of this too, just like we did.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're
Uh,
fired up right now. What's the one thing for you?
well, I hope, you know, we've gone through like the tools and the why to do it and whatever, but I want you to just remember like either you're in default and you're reacting to life, which we sometimes do, and that's, you know, but now you know better, so we can do better. So remember, you're creating, you can become the master of your state. You set the tone, you set the energy, you can turn on the radio, you can stand up, you can move your body, right? But
Mhm.
you're reacting or in default or you're creating. What about you?
Exactly. Same. You are the creator or the co-creator, depending on your belief system, of your entire experience.
Mhm, mhm.
100%. You
just-
are the creator.
And just imagine if you had 1% more pump up, like you just practice it each day, like 1%, you listen to a more upbeat song on the way to work, or you went to the gym and you fired yourself up, or you just got your kids and whatever, you just did 1%. Imagine that multiply over the arc of your life, right? Like how much more impact you would have, how much more joy you would have, how much more access to potential you would have. Do it.
Wow, so good.
Well, I don't think there's
We
any.
should just go crush the day.
Get
Moving
after
on to crush the day now. Bye.
And you listening, go crush your day. Like take something away from this. Remember, physiology has many levels. It's where are your eyes? What are you doing with your breath? How are you moving your body? Do something, right? Like make that shift. Take that into your own hands and make a shift.
Because how your life feels is everything more important than how it looks.
Yeah, guys. And every day is your opportunity to find your awesome.